We are live in the studio with the three parliamentary candidates of the main parties here. We've been hearing, as well as you've just heard, from four of the other candidates as well. We're moving on now to housing and developments and roads, and this is very much a local topic, isn't it? And Rob Blood phoned me with a very interesting question last night. He says, under Labour, Tom Levitt wanted to build on Hogshaw Villas and the Common. What do the candidates think? Does housing come at the cost of nature? Caitlin Bisknell, Tom Levitt apparently wanted to build on Hogshaw Villas and the Common, and he quite continuously talked about village greens and how they'd prevented village green applications and their prevention as well of developments on Greenland.
I think it's a very fine line that we heard earlier in the clip from local residents that people want affordable housing built so that young people, and not always just young people, but older people as well, want somewhere affordable to live. Well, to do that, we need to build new housing. We haven't got enough brownfield sites in High Peak to be able to build them all on those sites. So we need to look at greenfield sites. Part of the Hogshaw site is in fact brownfield, so theoretically at least it would look like it would be a good place to build. But we also need to make sure that we retain play areas for young people and open spaces. Some of the village green applications, I think, have hindered development in High Peak, and I think that's been bad for us. Because it means it has contributed to the housing shortage.
Alistair Stevens, what would you do as MP towards these housing targets that we've got? Many say they're unrealistic, that we're trying to build far too many houses in the High Peak. What would you do? Where do you stand on the claim that too many houses need to be built?
Well, I've worked in a estate agency for many years, and I don't think the target of 50 per year is anywhere near enough, quite frankly. It's a huge area, the High Peak. And there are plenty of sites that we can look to build on. It's just political will, and maybe we've skirted round this problem for too long, and we need to sit together. This is where PR comes in, and working with consensus politics and working with other parties.
I want to put this to all of you. Which of the candidates will fight for the future of Cowdale Quarry? That's the big one at the moment. Andrew Bingham?
Well, I think it's probably difficult for Caitlin and I because we sit on the council, which is the planning authority. Neither of us sit on the planning committee, but I have had discussions with the objectors to Cowdale Quarry, and as I said, I'm being hesitant because there are strict laws over what you can and can't say about planning applications, so I think it's probably something that, I don't know, Caitlin may disagree, that we should probably not comment on.
Caitlin?
No, I'm afraid I would agree with Andrew on that. We don't know the outcome of the election. I may well be on the planning committee if I don't win the election, although I sincerely hope I do win the election and therefore I'm not on the planning committee. But I don't want to. I won't want to prejudge the issue.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments on that. I just had an email here. Can I point out that while some of the Liberal Democrat literature was printed outside the High Peak, most has been designed, printed, delivered and paid for by local Liberal Democrat volunteers. Alistair was not asked, but he has personally printed most of our leaflets. He did tell me off air, don't worry, thanks to Shirley for your email there. There you go, Andrew. Alistair, we got it in for you.
Right, thanks very much, Ben.
Happy about that?
Well.
William Garrett from Buxton Road in Furley's Vale says, are any of the prospective MPs going to do anything about the area's roads? Caitlin, Alistair?
Sorry, I've got... I think we certainly do need to look at the traffic flow in and out of Glossop. I think it is horrendous. I don't think there's an easy solution. We do need to sort of reconsider the Longdendale transport policy that's going through at the moment. It's maybe not ideal, but we need to sort of look at it for the benefit of the Glossop people. Buxton, anyone who's been trying to get in and out of Buxton recently with Long Hill closed will know that there is a desperate and urgent need for a Fairfield Bypass. So we do need to look at that. But we also, part of any transport solution has got to be better public transport. That's buses and trains connecting better, better services on the Buxton line, on the Glossop line and the Hope Valley line, all of which are promised in the near future. £530 million investment recently.
Alistair, is the High Peak neglected when it comes to transport?
Yes, it is. My son goes to Manchester University and he comes home by train, and if he gets off the train at Marple, he pays a very small amount, return fare. The minute we step over the border, because there's no investment from our county council or nowhere near enough, the fares shoot up, so you're not encouraging people to use public transport because of the cost. Liberal Democrats will cut the cost of public transport. I would like to see rural public transport improved vastly. People are going out for a day. The last bus is 5 p.m. That is just nonsense, and we've got to get it changed, and changed quickly.
Transport, Andrew, the big one's the bypass, which has just been going on and on and on. Where do you think improvements are needed locally in terms of transport?
Well, I think the Glossopdale Bypass, I know this may not prove popular with a lot of people, but I think Glossop needs a bypass, and I can't sit here and say that, oh, vote for me and you will get your bypass. Somebody tried that 13 years ago and we've still not got one. But if elected, I certainly will use whatever power and whatever I can to make sure that any road building programme that may come along, and let's not forget the country hasn't got any money at the moment, but if there is the chance of one, I would fight very hard for it, because I think the lack of that bypass, it's strangling Glossop.
Caitlin, Bisknell?
Of course, if the Tories hadn't taken the Glossopdale bypass out of the programme in the first place, we might well have had it more than 13 years ago.
We've had a Labour government for 13 years. Yes, the Conservatives did take it out. I wouldn't deny that. But I can remember Mr Levitt saying on many occasions, now I'm here, you'll have a bypass in Glossop. And here we are, 2010,
do I do my
no
Mr
bypass.
Clegg? Do I do my Mr Clegg here and just say, look at these two arguing again? Actually, on this point, actually, I agree with Andrew here.
Oh dear.
Both of us have discussed this privately, and we both believe a full bypass for Glossop is needed. It's no good just pushing it on a little bit further and the bottleneck starts a little bit further on. We've got to get a full bypass so Glossop can be free of congestion.
I also think we need to be realistic and look at what's on the table at the moment, and if there's money on the table now, we need to look at that sensibly and carefully, because the problem needs alleviating, and if it's not done now, then it could, who knows how long it'll be before we get another chance.
Sally Moore, this one on the email that's coming tonight. The three main candidates go on and on about reducing carbon emissions, yet they all support the construction of a bypass along the lines of the discredited Longdendale Bypass, but now through Mottram and down into Glossop instead. The old plan would have seen carbon emissions increase in the area by 15,000 tonnes each year. Doesn't this make a nonsense of their claims to be environmentally friendly? Surely the best way to be green is not to pollute the area with more traffic and CO2, Alistair Stevens.
I think in a modern economy and a modern world, you've got to probably get real with this. It must be more polluting to have cars sat there for an hour unable to get through. The shorter the journey and the more carbon efficient the cars become over the years, then surely you've got to have the infrastructure for that. I would welcome electric cars. I would welcome those cars powered by wind turbines.